Hello, my name is Steve Meshke and welcome to the TrueSight Middleware and Transaction Monitor how-to video series. Today we're going to talk about how to create a CA certificate request for a Websphere MQ Manager for using SSL channels. How to create a CA certificate request. In order to use SSL channels or DLS, you will need to have a valid certificate from a Trusted Certificate Authority or CA. The easiest way to proceed is to start fresh by creating a new Websphere MQ key store for the Q Manager. You'll need to use a utility like iKeyman, this comes with Websphere MQ, or KeyTool to create a new key store. Since this is MQ, I will use iKeyman. Websphere MQ uses a key database type of CMS. So we'll create a new key store and name it however you like. For example, QManagerName_key.kdb, and I recommend that you put it in the SSL subfolder of that Q Manager. Once you've created a new key store, then you can generate a new CA certificate request. Note, make sure to include the root chain certificate. And then send that to a Trusted Certificate Authority and have them create you a certificate. Once you get the certificate back, you can import it into the key store and you'll see it listed there. After you have successfully imported the certificate into the Q Manager key store, then you can export the cert so that it can be imported into the client key store or trust store. Import, extract certificate, use the default values, put the Q Manager name in the certificate file name so you know where this came from. This can be useful if you're configuring several Q Manager SSL connections at the same time. Okay, so what we want to do then is we want to create a CA cert from an official certificate authority. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a key store. Since this is all going to be based on Websphere MQ, I'm going to use the Websphere MQ tool, iKeyman. You start iKeyman by going strmq-ikm on a Windows box that you have Websphere MQ server installed. Hit return and that will open up iKeyman. Now this will allow us to create key stores, import certificates, what have you. So we go to key database file, we'll say new. Okay, now Websphere MQ uses CMS, so what we're going to do is CMS, the file name will be key KDB, and then we're going to change it to the directory where we have our Q Manager. So the Q Manager we're going to work with is Q Managers. It's going to be QM428, and then I'm going to go into the SSL folder. This is all just sort of default MQ setup stuff. So I'm going to create a new key store. I'll say save, say OK. It's going to prompt us for a password, so I'll put in a password. In this case will be all BMC software, all lowercase, and then we'll BMC SOFTWARE. Then we'll set an expiration. Now we want this to last for a couple years, so let's go 700, and then we'll click stash password to a file, and that go ahead. Okay, so now we've created our own key store. As you can see, it's show us our type and what we're going to do here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a personal certificate request. So basically we've created a key store, right? So that's our locker. Now we're going to go and create a certificate, and then we're going to send that to the CA so that we can put that official certificate into our locker. So we're going to say new, create certificate requests. Now according to Websphere, we have to use a specific label for the Q Manager certificate. So I'm going to go IBM Web PHERMQ and then QM428. Now this is in the Websphere doc, but basically it's going to be IBM Websphere MQ and then the name of the Q Manager, all lowercase. Then I'm going to change the key size to 2048 because that's the requirement that we have here at BMC. It's a minimum of a 2048 key store. Then I'm going to put in the host name of the host that runs the Q Manager. So in this case, it's going to be CLM-AUS0074bmm.com. That is the official name of the box. So that's the domain name. If you try to ask for a cert without an official domain name, your CA may reject it. So what we'll do is then we'll put in our information. So here it is, BMC Software Incorporated. And the locality is Houston. even though I'm not personally in Houston. The company's in Houston. And then we're going to say state is Texas. And then we're going to go country. And we're going to go to United States, which of course is right there. Okay, the rest of it's optional. It's going to enter a name for the certificate request. Now, I'm going to add the name of the queue manager on here so I can keep it straight. So I'm going to go QM428 cert.arm. And I click OK. So as you can see here, a new cert request has been created. It's created in this location. Send this file to the certification authority to request a certificate and click OK. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my file system. I'm going to look in SSL, and then you're going to see right here, here's that file. This is the ARM file that I'm going to copy and send that to my certificate authority, and I'm going to order a cert. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll pick up when I get it back from the CA. Okay, so now I've gotten my certificate back from the certificate authority. So it's over in this directory here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select receive, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to look in this directory, which is, I switched queue managers because I screwed up the other requests. So this one is for queue manager 1, but the principles are still the same. So I'm going to take this certificate, which is the certificate that I created, and I'm going to open that and say OK, and its validation is successful. And you can see now it is in the key store. Okay, so now that we've got the cert installed, what we need to do is we need to extract a certificate. So let's highlight the certificate we just imported. We'll select extract certificate. Then let's rename this, and let's give it a queue manager name. So QM1_cert.arm, and click OK. And I'm going to save that to my local directory. So here it is here. So what I will do now is I can go ahead and close this key store. What I'll do now is I will take this, copy this over to the application that I'm going to connect with. I'll import that into the key store trust store of that application, then refresh security or restart the application for the changes to take effect. That concludes this video. Thank you for listening.